If you get married in 2025 as a man, you're an idiot, especially if you have assets the women can take. Only way I see it making sense is if the woman just has just as much to lose as the man, i.e. financial assets of that sort. Otherwise, it's no point, sorry, his grammar's quite bad. It's no point. Women leave as soon as things get hard and they're not faithful in these modern times. They have too many options. That was a comment on a community post that I made a couple of days ago where basically a woman said to me, I basically recounted an event that I had with a woman where she said to me that Caribbean men don't get married because they're very self-sufficient. They know how to cook, they can build things, they know how to make a house a home without needing a woman, which is why they're less likely to rely on a woman. That was her opinion. So I just made a post about it and he commented that. I haven't scripted this video. I just wanted to react to that comment and give my 2 cents. Because I thanked him for leaving a comment because I appreciate when someone's kind of, they are brutally honest about how they feel. Sorry, my voice is really mashed up, but I wanted to make this video. So yeah, this video isn't scripted, but I'm going to just kind of riff a little bit on my response to that kind of comment. And it is this. Yes, I kind of agree to some extent that, for a lot of men, I think that they worry about if marriage is worth it now. I think that's really what it is that holds a lot of guys back. It's like, is it really worth it? For some men it is, some men it isn't. I think that, it's not I think. Statistically, marriage benefits men in almost every single aspect. Like, they live longer, they're happier, they're healthier, they report more satisfaction, they're financially better, they're more financially well off. I think where the biggest kind of disconnect lies for men right now is it worth it? As in, is it worth it? Because if it doesn't work, you're in the doghouse, you're in the shithole financially. And I think that's where this comment is kind of coming from. And here's the issue. I think if you're overly worried about the finances of getting married, don't get married. Don't get married. Don't do it. Like, if you're so worried about, if we get divorced, she's getting half my stuff, then don't get married. Or, and I know prenups are more of a thing in the US, but I've actually spoken to a solicitor about this, don't ask why. I ain't getting married yet, but don't ask why. But you can put things in place, sorry, my voice. You can put things in place to protect your assets if that's what you're worried about. You can do that. And I know some people say that it's not really enforceable in the UK, but I've spoken to a solicitor and they've shown me that it is possible and it is enforceable. So, and I had a conversation with a woman literally last night, and I explained to her that for a lot of guys, marriage is it's not really for the guy, it's more for the women. Like, women want marriage. Men, and I'm generalizing, so, people will disagree. But I think there's a lot of guys who, they kind of view marriage like, okay, well, she wants it, I don't mind, but she wants it. If it's going to make her happy, I'll do it. But it's more of a women generally are the ones that want it. Like, they're the ones that are pushing for it. The guy will do it because he wants to make her happy. But there's a lot of guys now that are at a stage where they don't feel like they need to because there's no upside to it. And then there's this argument that, and this is not my belief, I mean, I can agree with some of it, but there's an argument that, a lot of women want traditional men, but they're not traditional women. And that's like a whole, if you want to go down the whole red pill rabbit hole and have that talk, I don't necessarily believe that. I think none of us are traditional anymore. Like, nothing's traditional anymore. So that's not even an argument. Like, women are out earning men in a lot of areas. They're definitely more educated than us now more than ever. So nothing's traditional in that sense anymore anyway. So women can't expect traditional men can't expect traditional women. What was traditional women? We have to remember the origins of marriage isn't what it is today. It was to bring tribes together. There's a good book, and I'm so silly, this is not scripted, so I didn't do any research, but there's a book that talks about the origins of marriage and what it actually used to be. And a lot of it was wealth sharing and bringing tribes together. Back in tribal times, we would actually get married to bring my tribe and your tribe so we could actually bring together all our assets and basically build bigger empires. It wasn't about love per se. It wasn't about, I love you, get on one knee, wear my ring, da-da-da-da. It wasn't about that. So when we say traditional, how traditional do we want to get, right? So let's think about it. I think that there are a lot of benefits, but I see the drawbacks and I can see why men are more cautious. Even me, I'm cautious. I'm very cautious because you know, I don't want to lose half my stuff. But then I think that I realize now, if you have that mentality at the start, there's no point doing it. So you might as well never do it, because if you're worried about that, the whole point, no one gets married and says, oh, I'm never going to, like, no one gets married and says, oh, you know, one day I'm going to get divorced and lose half my stuff. No, they're hoping that they can stay together forever. That's the hope, that's the desire, right? If that's your hope and that's your desire, then, you know, you've got to be willing to take the risk. Everything is a risk anyway. You know, you being alone for the rest of your life is also a risk. You being single and just doing bachelor lifestyle is a risk, right? So you have to kind of pick what you have an appetite for when it comes to the risk. But back to the original comment, you know, he said, if you get married in 2025, you're an idiot, especially if you have assets that a woman can take. So how do you not become an idiot if you agree with this sentiment? You put things in place that protect you from becoming an idiot. Yeah. You go through and you chat to a solicitor and you work out, you know, I love this woman. She's the woman for me, but, you know, I'm not stupid. There's a 40% chance or a 30% chance. Obviously, the whole 40% thing in marriages, that's not actually true. You need to do some digging. What the real data is really, yes, there's a chance that you'll be divorced, but it actually changes depending on how long you've been together. And also, there's a declining rate of marriages, which means there's also been a declining rate of divorces. But that's a whole nother video that I've got scripted. That's actually a real video, which I'm going to continue drawing out. But with that being said, you know, this guy's main point is really about losing the financial assets. And I understand that, but before you get married, put things in place to protect yourself as best as you can. All right? Because you can do that. There are solicitors that will advise you on that. Trust me, you can find a way. With that being said, my voice is in a really bad place, but I just want to, I'm finding some momentum. I'm finding a bit of a groove with YouTube and I want to stick to it. So have a blessed day. Leave a comment. If this video, obviously I didn't really provide much insight, but I wanted to just voice my opinion. I'd love to know you guys' thoughts on marriage and dating, and, you know, is it worth getting married in 2025? I can't provide an answer because I don't know, but I have my opinion. I have my beliefs.